Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Joey Plays Games podcast. This is episode 4 of our podcast. This is our new adventure that we're going on. Ronnie's flashing the camera for some reason. Welcome to the show. We hope you all have had a great week and enjoyed last week's episode. And if you're new to the show, don't forget to comment your thoughts on what you think of the show down below, and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. We break down all the nerd news of the week, and we typically break down whatever big TV show happened. Right now, since there's only one going on, there's no problems. Once we get to more than one, we'll have a problem, but we're not there yet. So let's get into the nerd news this week. We had a couple relatively big pieces to talk about. We're gonna run through them pretty quickly though, so we can get into this banger of an episode. So first things first, Zack Snyder's Justice League 4-hour cut was officially rated by the Motion Picture Association of America as rated R, and the cut was confirmed to be at least 4 hours in length. Anybody got any big thoughts on that?
Overhyped.
Okay.
Just kidding. But
Matt,
I don't know how this is gonna work out.
Actually, let's talk about the Joker. I didn't know he was gonna be in there till recent, or at least
right.
Matt
was actually shocked at this. He sent me a picture after looking at Twitter after class one day and was like, "What? Jared Leto's Joker's in the Snyder cut?" And I was like, "Yeah." He talked about doing reshoots, and then he kind of talked about being a vampire, and I was like, "Okay." Jared Leto's weird, but yeah, we're gonna get a nightmare version of Batman again, and we're gonna get whatever the hell Joker Snyder's putting in there. I'm excited for this. R-rated cut means he's doing whatever he wants with it.
I'm surprised that it's 4 hours long. I thought it was gonna be like 3 hours, like 3 hour 30 maybe, but I didn't know it was gonna be 4. that's big as hell.
No, there was a talk originally when it got confirmed that it would either be like 4 to 6 hour long episodes or just one long cut. But this confirmed it. He confirmed a while back that it was gonna be a movie. And then this confirms its length to be just about 4 hours. Because photography's finished, the edit's completely finished. It's all in the can. I'm sure he's working on his Netflix movie now. But yeah.
And Joe, what's it called? What's gonna make it rated R? Do we know? Or like why it's being rated? Like why it's rated R?
Language and violence.
Like, what are they adding? All right, cool.
So it's gonna be.
So violence is included. Good.
Violence.
It's probably gonna lean a lot more heavy on graphic violence, similar to what he did with 300 and Watchmen, and then he's already confirmed that Batman's gonna use the F word. So.
Whoa,
dude.
Just saying. Matt, your camera is
Up
frozen,
5
so we're gonna call you
superheroes who sworn. I can't see Matt.
Now you can see him. Anybody have any other thoughts, Nick?
That's the kind of movie that he usually makes, so he doesn't need to creatively restrain himself with a PG-13 in mind. So it'll be his vision, whatever that is. We'll see.
Yeah. All right.
Hopefully it's better.
Yes, hopefully. Next time we probably talk about the Snyder Cut will be if a trailer drops, but I'm not sure if we're all gonna want to watch the trailer and we'll just want to go into it. So we'll kind of play that by ear, and if a trailer does drop, we will at least talk about it on the podcast. So
4 hour trailer, 4 hour movie, so probably like a 20-minute trailer.
Yes, just a fifth of the movie right there. Our next story is the Suicide Squad from James Gunn has a synopsis that was released, as well as he confirmed the movie is 99% done and we will get a trailer by May. So lots of pieces packed into this, but the synopsis for the trailer talks about a search and destroy mission. Right here, I'll read you guys the synopsis from the press briefing. From writer-director James Gunn comes Warner Bros. Pictures' superhero action adventure The Suicide Squad, featuring a collection of the most degenerate delinquents in the DC lineup. Welcome to Hell, aka Bel Rev, the prison with the highest mortality rate in the US of A, where the worst supervillains are kept and where they will do anything to get out, even join the super secret, super shady Task Force X, Today's do or die assignment: assemble a collection of cons, including Bloodsport, Peacemaker, Captain Boomerang, Ratcatcher 2, Savant, King Shark, Blackguard, Javelin, and everyone's favorite psycho, Harley Quinn. Then arm them heavily and drop them literally on the remote, enemy-infused island of Corto Maltese. Trekking through a jungle teeming with militant adversaries and guerrilla forces at every turn, the squad is on a search and destroy mission with only Colonel Rick Flag on the ground to make them behave, and Amanda Waller's government techies in their ears, tracking their every movement. And as always, one wrong move and they're dead, whether at the hands of their opponents, a teammate, or Waller herself. If anyone's laying down bets, the smart money is against them. All of them. That's a pretty loaded synopsis. What is anybody? I'm gonna start with Matt. Matt's got probably the best questions if we have any questions here out of everybody.
Questions
on that. What do you think after hearing that? Are you interested, excited?
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the first Suicide Squad. I actually didn't really like it at all. But with the cast they have, and I like the Harley Quinn portrayal. I thought that all the characters were cool from the first one. I just didn't like the story. So if we have a cooler kind of plot to this, I'm looking forward to it. And they got a lot of good actors and actresses, so I'm looking forward to it.
I as well. Nick?
Yeah, I got complete faith in James Gunn that he'll produce something. What he'll give us is going to be a dark version of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm here for it. So that sounds like it's going to be reaching everyone trying to get to the top of the mountain to blow up the big bad thing, and it'll just be everyone's dying on the way there, and it'll be just a complete cluster storm, and it'll be interesting to watch.
Ronnie, as our other fellow DC nerd resident, is there anything that you kind of heard in that got your nerd juices flowing?
Yeah. I really trust James Gunn. It seems interesting. Like everything that Nick said, I pretty much agree with. I trust James Gunn to do good with this series, kind of like how he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. And beyond that, I don't really have much else to say besides the fact that I expect it to be something great, and that it's rightfully in his hands.
Owen, as a relative noob to what's going on here, what do you think?
Well, from the sound of it, it's going to be much better than the first one. Thank God, the first one I watched like last year. Not good. So
yeah. So I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't say the first one has come under fire ever since it was released for being a pretty bad movie. But after the Snyder Cut movement, David Ayer came out and also confirmed that Warner Brothers messed a lot with his story. So there's also an Ayer cut that features a relatively different cut of the story with supposedly darker humor, more character-focused beats. So we may, after we see the Snyder Cut, eventually get to see an Ayer cut, which may improve the original version of the movie. Bottom line of this story, Warner Brothers needs to stop messing around with their people's pictures.
Sure.
In my opinion. Because then you would stop having this
I
problem.
agree.
But he's also flip-flopped a couple of times.
Ayer?
Yeah.
50-50. I don't think he's really flip-flopped.
Wait, Nick.
I think he realized he could work with them.
Nick, what has he flip-flopped with?
Huh?
He asked what he flip-flopped
What has he flip-flopped with?
Before he had said that there was no Ayer cut, so don't ask for it. And then now he's coming out saying that there is an Ayer cut.
I think he flip-flopped, though, because he wanted to be able to get work again.
I guess.
Because he was having a hard time getting... Not a hard time, but he wasn't... It's not like Zach, where Zach can go somewhere as a visionary director and be like, I made these movies. They've got a really cult following. I make a movie for you. You're going to get a lot of people to watch it.
Yeah,
I just think he saw that.
I just think it's interesting that he was vehemently saying that it's not.
I don't think he was vehemently saying. I think you're wrong.
Okay.
But next story on the report is Ryan Coogler's Proximity Media sets an exclusive television deal with the Walt Disney Company. Ryan Coogler was the director of Black Panther. He's directing Black Panther 2. He also directed the original Creed and Fruitvale Station. So he's a very well-known director in Hollywood right now. His company entered a 5-year overall exclusive television deal with Marvel, and there is talks specifically mentioned in this article where they're going to be developing a new television series, including one based in the Kingdom of Wakanda for Disney Plus. So I mean, pretty much for me, the only reason why I brought this story in was specifically because of that piece, and it kind of gives us a little bit of room to talk about Black Panther 2 and the world of Wakanda from Black Panther, and where we think they're going forward after the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman last summer. Are we excited about a prospect of this a series like this? Because I for one,
I'm excited. I'm excited, but I'm also just kind of uncertain if that's the right word. Because I know that they said they're not recasting him, which is I feel like the way to go for such an iconic role. But it's just at that point it makes me curious as to what they're gonna do to make it make sense in the realm. I feel like I trust the director. He has a pretty good back catalog of his films. I just don't know what they're gonna do for it. So it's like I'm excited because I know the director can pull it off. I'm just unsure about how it's gonna happen, if it will stake the landing. But I trust the project in his hand.
Yeah, I mean the ongoing rumor is that Shuri will assume the mantle after Chadwick T'Challa is killed off screen, either in between movies or because of something they use old footage. And she will assume the leader, or M'Baku will assume the role of the Black Panther. This show interests me though just because of the original movie and how detailed and layered the culture and world of Wakanda was. That I was kind of like, this is a cool thing for a Disney Plus series, that it's like you could have a story in the Guard where they go around and they're trying to protect an incursion, or a political story of stuff going on between the tribes. So I don't know. I think it's cool and exciting, but it's probably a long ways off if they just signed this deal. So we're probably not going to see this till after Black Panther 2, at least. So probably play with whatever the events of that are. Nick, you got any?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely good to hear that he's going to be staying in close proximity with the Marvel franchise, Marvel Universe, and his vision was definitely one that was well received by fans. And what comes to mind is I don't think that means he also has to stay with Wakanda. I think he can also tell other really good stories. And what comes to mind is Miles, of like that dynamic with Prowler and the music that they used in Black Panther. I think Prowler and Miles would have he would be able to do something in that of like we saw with the game. I think he would be a visionary that could guide that to fit well into the Marvel Universe.
I can see that. That's more up to Sony though.
Oh, right. I forgot about that part. Never mind. Ignore me.
But yeah, we'll see with the events of Spider-Man 3. I'm sure he would be one of the people that would want to do a project like that.
Oh yeah, no. I forget that there's a third.
There's a legal problem.
There's a third party involved with that.
Matt or Owen, anybody want to give their thoughts? Or if you don't really have any thoughts, you can just move on to the last pieces of news.
I mean, I really liked Black Panther, the first one. There's not a lot of Marvel movies that I went in and was just fully like, I don't know how to say it. I was really entertained by the movie. I thought it was really good, and the visuals were really nice. So if they can kind of follow in the footsteps of that, I think that'll be cool. But correct me if I'm wrong. From the comics, didn't they just kill off the two most like the biggest villains of Black Panther? From what I remember, like because I've read a few, and who was the white guy that he killed
Claw.
in the airstrip?
Victor
Who?
Claw. Or
Wasn't him and Killmonger from the comics like the two biggest villains?
more or less. The talks for villains have been centered around Namor from Atlantis, Kraven the Hunter, doing a crossover in there, just further merging the worlds. And then a report I saw a little while back was they're going to connect Storm into it. So I'm not quite sure. I would imagine they're going to go with Namor or Storm. I don't know if Storm's going to be a good guy or a bad guy, but we'll see. I think the Kraven thing would be interesting to further tie the MCU and the whatever the hell Sony's doing together, but I'm not 100% sure on that one.
This X-Men stuff could get confusing though. I don't know. I don't see a clear vision with this.
Yeah. As we found out this week, we'll be seeing more, and it's only going to get crazier. So, Owen, any final thoughts on this story?
Yeah, I got a real quick one. The lore is OC, so I'm hyped for that. I'm a sucker for good lore.
I appreciate that. That's a really good point. Kind of summarizes what we're all saying. Next story is another quick one. Paul Rudd's Ant-Man 3 is set to film in historic Turkish region. It was rumored last year by insider Charles Murphy that Quantumania would film at Pinewood in UK and serve as the home base for production. But now one on-location location has been revealed, and it appears that, I can't say this name, so I'm not even going to try. Filming has actually already begun in Cappadocia and several locations in that area of the world. So, it's more of just an update that Ant-Man 3, as well as Thor, Love and Thunder. I forgot to include that as part. We could have looked at the set pictures. But Ant-Man, Thor 4, filming now. Shang-Chi, Black Widow, Eternals are all done. Editing is in the can. Spider-Man 3 obviously is another one that's filming right now. But it's good to know that these movies keep being shot, and it's, I guess, nice to see that there's some representation. I wonder if this plays into Kang at all, but I'm not really sure because Kang's going to be one complicated hell of a mess to introduce. But anybody else excited that Ant-Man 3 has gone into production and started shooting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ant-Man's always... I've been a sucker for Ant-Man.
Can't go wrong with Paul Rudd.
It's always a good time.
Yeah,
I didn't like Ant-Man, actually.
That's fine.
I liked Ant-Man the first one. I thought the second one was very average, and yeah, I'm not excited.
Yeah, the first one was definitely better.
The main thing I'm excited for the next Ant-Man is I wonder if they're going to show a dynamic between him and Cassie, since now she's older, a lot older than she was when we started the first two movies, and also the fact of, didn't she get like a casting change? Isn't she not gonna?
Yeah, they recasted her and all sorts of stuff. And as we saw this week, lots of recasting is going on. So
yeah, that's what I'm interested in seeing. I want to see how the new actor fits in that role, if it feels weird or not, and also how they're gonna manage that dynamic now that she's older with Ant-Man.
yeah, that'll be interesting for sure. We'll see. Michael Douglas has been talking about this since quarantine started last year, so he is definitely excited to be back doing whatever the hell he's doing. yeah, I mean, for me, there's not really a whole lot more to talk about that. If somebody else has something that they would like to say, I would like to give them the floor. But if not, we can go into the final piece of news to lead into our discussion of this week's episode 5. No, okay. I'll take silence as let's go ahead and discuss this.
Oh, what about?
Let's go!
This quote. WandaVision showrunner discusses changing character origin stories. It's a really long interview by Kim Taylor Foster over on fandom.com. Talks about popular theories about Mephisto and acronym and all sorts of stuff, but they talk to the showrunner, and essentially I wanted to talk about one particular quote. Let me find it real quick. He was just talking about Wanda's origin story and kind of how they've readapted and changed some things around. I can't find it. It was in the headline of the tweet, and it's not even centered in here. Okay, here. The sort of crazy lady narrative is tired, so I would hope, as fans continue to watch the show, what they will see is a nuanced portrayal of a very complicated woman. I think right there leads perfectly into our discussion of this week's episode. What did we all think? Because after last week, because I went back and before we started recording, and I was like, let me look at everyone's predictions, and I was like, okay, last week I was right. And I was like, I don't even remember what the hell I said, which is bad that I'm starting to forget these things.
Wait,
really quickly.
What wasn't I right for my prediction?
Yeah.
Like literally everything that I said.
Yeah.
What were your predictions again?
I was actually shocked when I was
here last time.
Yeah, I'll read them out loud. I said not a lot of movement, Wanda focus, and 80s centric. And then we go. Ronnie goes 50-50. Wanda and the outside bubble still progression. Vision is questioning, drilling in on the problems with what is happening. Nick went with seeing more of the villain, scene between her and Wanda. We talked specifically about Agnes. We're like, kind of, maybe she's the villain. Scene between her and Wanda telling of the overall plot, similar to her and Vision questioning Wanda, now with Wanda and Agnes. And then Matt just went with the simple continuing in the 80s, 50-50s split. So Ronnie actually...
I was right. 50-50 split.
It was.
I said 50-50 split too. I
Ronnie
said two things. I got both of them right.
Was really on the dot with that. Nick was close to. He had a good prediction. He just didn't have it in the right area. It was close. It just wasn't completely
what Ronnie was doing.
Oh, Ronnie just does things. Yeah, this week's episode was crazy. As I said in my prediction, I thought this was going to be a slower week, and we were going to go back to a very nuanced thing.
Yeah.
And it was just going to pose a lot of questions. But it poses questions, answers questions, and then poses some more questions. So, I think there's a lot to break down. I took almost triple the notes that I did last time. So,
I saw that longer runtime, and I knew this episode was just going to be crazy.
Yeah, I was shocked. That was the first thing I noticed going into it. That I looked at the title when I woke up, and then I looked at the runtime, and I was like, 40 minutes. That's longer. We're starting to get into this longer thing, and it's a little early for this. And I was like, huh. It was actually a 34-minute runtime, so it was more just. I'm still baffled how there's 7 minutes of credits, but I guess that's.
I mean, to be fair, it's a Marvel production. I'm
weird.
sure that if you're working on it, you want to be credited on it.
Well, no, it's not. That's not what I'm saying.
Probably because they filmed it as a movie.
Like what the hell's wrong with you, Joe?
Playing it as a TV show.
That's not what I'm saying, Ron.
Filmed it as a movie?
Well, he's saying they filmed it all together. It's normally a TV show. They shoot episodes out of order and stuff. And Nick's kind of saying that they probably
so different types of production. So,
well,
I mean, yeah,
it's the same thing with Mando's credits. Mando's credits are 7 minutes long too.
Yeah,
and I'm
so
like, why are these credits this long? Because I'm used to a TV show's credits being like 2 minutes because it's a very condensed group of people working on it.
I agree. I was just saying that's probably.
We went off on a tangent.
Well, I mean, this is on
Alright, get back to the
so.
show.
Ronnie, give us your thoughts.
I was gonna.
What?
What's it called? Yeah, it was really. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it was really good. No, it's exactly everything that I kind of predicted, and it's exactly what I wanted. I really liked my favorite thing. Well, there's a lot of things that I have like that were favorite things, but I really liked how Vision was drilling Wanda, and like that ending scene where. Can I talk about like anything?
Yeah,
Right?
I mean
Or are we gonna go
we're a
like-
very spoiler show, so yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So like I really liked at the ending when he was going in on Wanda, like saying like what's happening, like my coworker, blah blah blah. And then she kinda did like the thing where like she's gonna make him go back to being like just a normal civilian, right? And it does that for like a second and the credits are rolling, but then he snaps out of it. And while the credit that was funny, but it was also like cool to see him breaking through that kind of cycle and just really not giving a fuck about what's her show, her whatever, and really just wanting those answers. I think that they played that really well. I didn't think they were gonna do it as hard as they did, especially so soon, but I really enjoyed that. Aside from that, I also liked the scene she had where she came out of it to kind of give us some insight about um, her control over the whole thing and how much she actually cares about it and that she knows what she's doing. She is in full consciousness doing what she wants to do. And then at the end, that ending shot, we see, that was exciting enough. But yeah, overall, I really liked it. I will say some of the parts where they would go back and forth did kind of take me out of it sometimes. Like, I wish maybe they would have spent longer segments in one situation or the other. But I feel like that's a really minor detail that didn't even bother me that much. It was like only every now and then would it take me out of the scene. But aside from that, it was really good.
Matt, I want to give you the floor because you came into the call today and were like, I have some thoughts. So I want to let you lay it on us.
It's not nothing big, but okay. So basically, I'll start by saying I like the puppy thing where it died because I like how she was explaining to her son. It's like, this is how life works. Like things are gonna die, whatever. And then she fucking brings back her brother at the end. So it's all. I love how she's like contradicting herself almost, unless she didn't do the brother thing on purpose, but she did the Vision.
She also brought back Vision.
I mean, yeah, she brought back Vision, which goes against what she told her child. So she consciously knows that she's. I like that scene because it shows that she knows what she's doing is wrong. Compared to just like I don't know. I just like that scene. As far as things I am kind of iffy on, when they bring back her brother at the end, that's like the first time I saw a Marvel movie not stay consistent with the actors or actresses. And it's kind of like I don't feel that shock factor because it's almost like I'm looking at someone completely new. That's just me though.
Okay, I want to cut you off because that's not accurate. They recast Rhodey
Yeah.
after Iron Man
False.
1, and then they recast Hulk after The Incredible Hulk. So,
One was super old, and I didn't even watch the first Hulk movie. And then that one, I guess the Iron Man one's valid, but I don't know. This one didn't shock me. It's not like I saw someone, like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
no,
That's
I
just
mean,
me.
I know what you're talking about. I just want to make sure for
Yeah.
validity's sake that I
Yeah,
let
right.
you know that you are not correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're
Kind
dumb.
of slight
Idiots.
counter argument against Matt. Not like a counter argument, but just
Hold on, let's
feel like it
let's
shocked
let
me a lot.
Owen and Nick get into it, and then we'll get into
no,
counter
fuck
arguments
that.
and break
Fuck
it.
that. Fuck that.
Okay. Ronnie's hijacking the
I'm
show.
joking. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, I want to let everybody get their piece in because we got a lot to talk about. Owen, go ahead.
Dude, this shit was crazy. Dude, like, okay, big thing. For kids, like, I'm super confused about, like, whether or not they're, like, are they real? Because there's no other kids in the town, but I'm not sure if they're her kids exactly or real. That's my big thing.
So Owen's
Or are they all just, like, a big thing of her shit?
All right.
And another thing, dude, that whole thing where she came out, dude, like somewhat conscious of the thing now, and she's like kind of a villain-ish. It's kind of Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Everything's crazy. That's my big point. Side note. No, that was really, really cool.
Okay.
Another thing, like, Rambo's clothes were like morphed into like the clothes. It was like still Kevlar vest, dude. Like that was like really insane.
Yeah. There's
Everything's insane.
there was a lot in this
So
episode.
that
I
was
like, what?
that was a
All right, Nick.
that was super interesting.
Lay it on us.
I think the sword parts were kind of really interesting to me. I've seen the disagreement of the director and then of Randall Park, and then the other two are escaping me at the moment. But like the director being very adamant about Wanda, which makes me kind of think he might know something more than he actually does, or previous experience or something. I don't know, because it seemed like earlier when we had that first introduction to him, he seemed like pretty okay, but as it's gone on, he seems to kind of show his true colors more and more.
Yeah, I mean,
Everything else was covered by other people.
yeah, this episode was really great. As Ronnie talked about the last 5 minutes, or yeah, relatively last like 4 to 3 minutes with that argument scene was fantastic. I came down and that was kind of my big takeaway when I started talking to Nick right away. I was like, that was awesome because she went in on him. Like it wasn't they both went in at each other. That it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna play fight and it's gonna be over in 2 seconds because we're gonna sit down, and it was like, no, we are gonna hash this out and it's gonna go, and then we get that reveal at the end. So I really enjoyed the episode. There's a lot to break down, so I want to let Ronnie get into his counterpoint to Matt's statement about the dog and recasting and whatnot. So
That argument though, that was like some world star roast battle type stuff.
so glad to have you back, Owen. Go ahead, Ronnie.
My counter argument, not against the dog. I actually really like the dog thing because like Matt said, I felt like it had like a lot of symbolism between how she's trying to give this lesson to her kids, but she's not following that same lesson. But so that was all fine. Like I agree with Matt on that, but it's the whole Quicksilver, Peters. I could be wrong, but part of me wonders if this is a way for them to link the X-Men to the Marvel universe right now. I don't know. I know it's not going to be technically the exact copy of like the same Evan Peters Quicksilver we had in the X-Men series, but I don't know if this is like just a general recasting or if it is like a whole she couldn't bring him back, so this is a different version of Quicksilver that she brought from some other multiverse, or part of me doesn't even know if she genuinely brought him back, like if that's some other thing that, because like when she saw him, she wasn't like, oh, Pietro. It was kind of like a confused pause, like, is this Pietro? And then kind of accepted it. So
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's a full recast. I'm just kind of more. I feel like they just posed a lot of questions on me, so I'm neutral on that.
Yeah.
And even if it is a recast, I loved his Quicksilver, so I have no issue against it. It'll just be a little weird seeing him be a little bit, younger. But besides from that, I have no issue.
Yeah, I want to hop on this point really quick. The way they set it up poses more questions than it answered by revealing him. That it was very much of like, does she know that who he is? Because she kind of goes, huh? And then he starts talking. And it's like, oh, I guess you are Pietro. But then is this a multiverse thing? Because we're getting very much into the multiverse very quickly here. I mean, this is episode 5, Spider-Man 3, Doctor Strange 2. Lots of things we are rapidly approaching what the multiverse is in the MCU. So I don't know if this is their way of carrying characters over, or if it's as simple you couldn't get Aaron Taylor Johnson, so you're recasting him, or is this your brother, but he doesn't have powers, and so because he doesn't have the same powers as Quicksilver, is this another character that's playing? Because I saw a theory say that it could be the bad guy is who Evan Peters is playing, so he's not really Pietro, but there's just lots of questions. And the way Elizabeth Olsen was talking in her interviews last week and this week about there being a massive reveal, I'm not sure if this is the massive reveal. Because why would you pay this off so quickly in episode 5? You know what I'm saying? Of like, she was comparing it to Luke Skywalker in Mandalorian season 2 episode 8. That I'm like, I don't know if it's not equivalent. You know what I'm saying? That I wonder if there's a bigger reveal that we go. There are more people that are gonna pop up. James Spader pops up. Her dad pops up, and it's not her. We are starting to rewrite things because the interview in Fandom.com started talking about rewriting her past because they confirmed her past with her parents being dead and that they were not Magneto. The dad's name was not Eric Lensher. So it's like, what if because of her powers and her reality weaving that we start to get James Spader comes back as Ultron, but then we also get Michael Fassbender coming back as Magneto toward the end of the show, and that's like the big what the hell is this? Or I don't know. There's lots of pieces that I'm like, this reveal may not have blown me away of like, oh, what the hell, I'm gonna stand up and go crazy, but it asks a lot of questions that I'm interested to see how they pay off, because they paid off every single question and they just kept asking more questions. So I'm excited. Nick, go ahead and say what you got on this, because you probably have some interesting things to say.
Yeah, I think I'm under the impression that now it's kind of what we've seen so far is that she was in control at first, but now there's elements at play that are bringing the control out of her hands. With the kind of, should we take that from the top of Agnes trying to get her resetting the scene pretty much of when she said something that came out the wrong way pretty much. And I think of how she comes out and then she's coming in and all of that. It just seems like things are coming out of her hands, and it just seems like she can't quite control her powers anymore. So I think I was under the impression that it was the multiverse, of that she's just brought him in because it didn't seem like it seemed like he was an actor and not like he was brought in with prior knowledge. And I think it'll be interesting to see if we get a scene between him and Vision, of Vision tapping him and him being like, hey, is something supposed to happen? I'm me. So it's like, did she just create a new? I don't know. It's just interesting. I really have nothing coherent to say, to be honest.
Okay. Owen, you're the only one that hasn't talked about the big reveal this week. You got
Well,
any thoughts?
I'm like the whole multiverse thing. I'm thinking maybe like he is real Pietro just from one of the different universes. For sure, that'd be like pretty cool. So it's like, or like, and I'm also thinking maybe she didn't like resurrect the Vision from her universe, but she like brought over one from another.
But we saw the dead body. They've talked that this is the Vision from our universe, and that she stole his body.
Yeah, but you don't know what she did with the dead body yet. You could have just taken it and
last
then
week that there was a dead body, and that she's like repainting him in her thingy.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man, that there's all sorts of things.
I know, and just go ahead, just say it.
What else are you saying?
Yeah, there was a lot to that reveal. I'm very interested to see where it goes, because I'm gonna be happy with however they decide to play it. But it's gonna be very interesting, because I definitely think I felt last week after watching last week's episode that I was like, they took all the questions that they posed in 1, 2, and 3, and that they answered more than they set up more questions, and I was like, okay, where are we going from here? And then after I slowly thought about it, I was like, wait, no, they posed a lot of questions too that I didn't quite think about. And then this week answered more questions and then posed more questions that I'm like, hey, I'm happy that this is how this show is going, because it feels very natural, and it seems like it's gotten into a storytelling groove of like the first 3 were kind of telling their thing, and then 4 was a hard break, and 5 is now mixing and mashing these things together in a really nice and coherent way. So let's start talking about how they kind of balanced the outside the bubble and inside the bubble stuff, because I know you talked about how you really enjoyed the S.W.O.R.D stuff and how it was setting up kind of a power grapple for how to handle the situation. I was also interested in how they kind of talked about Captain Marvel and the events of Endgame, in that kind of very just offhanded way of like, she almost took out Thanos on her own. He had to drop an entire salvo on her. And then Randall Park goes, well, I argue Captain Marvel almost did it too. And then Monica Rambeau's like, kind of just, you can tell there's a little bit of like pain there, that there's something that happened there that you're like, I don't know if I want to talk about that. That I'm very interested to see how that's paid off later. So
Yeah, she's hiding something.
She is.
A little sneak, trying to hide some plot point from us. Come on.
You can't hear anything.
I feel like I was just as intrigued by both.
Yeah.
I was definitely intrigued by that thing that you mentioned, the whole Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau. Like, there's some bad blood there, some bad history, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely like to see where that goes and explore that more. I feel like we're probably gonna get that maybe more in Captain Marvel 2 or something like that than now, but it's just interesting to see that setup. But aside from that, I also just kind of like the dynamic, kind of seeing S.W.O.R.D operate, kind of just gave me that kind of impression of like back when we would see Shield operate in the early stages of the Marvel universe. So kind of seeing that parallel was interesting to see. So
yeah. I mean, we kind of talked about how they broke out the body, or she broke out the body. I like how this is getting to be such a big incident, and the Avengers aren't really being mentioned. Of like, hey, maybe we should call somebody to be like, yo, can you come in and talk to her? Isn't she supposed to be your problem? Especially after Lagos and the Sokovia Accords, aren't you all supposed to be working together as a cohesive unit? Like, she just stole a dead guy, and now he's back alive, and she's holding the whole town hostage. Like, what's going on? So I'm interested.
The Lagos thing again? Is that what they call the blip or?
Lagos was the commercial in this week's episode, and the reference.
No, I know that, but what?
The reference to the trauma that it is talking about is in Captain America: Civil War. Crossbones activated a suicide vest, and then she contained the blast and shot it upwards, but lost control before it went above a building, and that's how it killed the Wakandan.
Oh yeah,
missionary.
Yeah. Okay, that's Lagos.
So that's what
okay, yeah, I totally forgot that name.
So that was. I'm glad to see that back, because that's another fun little thing that we're gonna keep hyper analyzing. We didn't really hyper analyze 3 because that was very blatant. This was more of like, we're just gonna wipe things up. I'm like, I kind of like the tongue in cheek of like, she didn't really wipe up the mess very well. Matt, do you have any big thoughts on the other pieces, or do you want to counter respond to the earlier argument?
Yo, speak up.
Yeah, he's just sitting there.
No, I hit the wrong key.
Can't hear you, bro.
I mean, no. As far as thoughts on the little detailed things where like they reference past movies and stuff. I mean, you guys covered most of them. I don't really have any thoughts. I think the Rambo thing, Captain Marvel's probably the one I'm most intrigued by. I'm hoping they explore that a little more. But other than that, yeah, I think you guys covered all of them.
Okay. I'm looking at my notes here. The only thing we haven't really touched on is, aside from the purposeful like silence when they're cutting, and you can tell there's like a weird thing going on that they've kind of done throughout the whole show when the music stops or whatever the background noise, you just hear dialogue. We saw that again. I mean, I guess we haven't really talked about the kids a whole lot, aside from the intro of like what their powers are and their rapid growth, and we kind of talked about the dog, who is supposed to be, I believe, a reference from Tom King's Run, because I believe the dog in that was called Sparky as well. But if we're all good,
it could also be a reference to It could also be a reference to Frankenweenie, because the dog in that was also called Sparky.
Could be. I did not catch that, but I'm glad you're pointing that out. If we're good, we can just move on to predictions, because
Bruh,
I feel like I kind of. Wait, you go.
Okay, I did just want to say that I feel like we haven't looked at the other side of the whole dead body thing with Wanda. I feel like if they grab your fucking boyfriend and then they started experimenting on his dead body, it's like, you know what I mean? I feel like her taking it back wasn't totally evil or anything. Like, I feel like that was very justified. I mean, I don't know though. That's just my opinion.
No, I 100%
No, wasn't
agree with you.
It was
Because
like in his will that.
No, oh, you go. You finish up, buddy.
No, wasn't it like in his will he didn't want to be a weapon, and isn't that was probably what they were doing to him by having his body, most likely?
yeah, that's
He didn't even have
I thought.
I thought I can see that maybe, but I don't know why they would deconstruct him entirely. Like I was assuming kind of this, if maybe that does go the whole like don't want to be a weapon, so let's take him apart kind of thing. But the way I saw it is like, if yeah, kind of just like, why are you experimenting on his body? If you don't want to be a weapon, you can easily do that amongst other means. But to have him fully set apart, have these wires, have everyone intricately looking at what he's made of, it kind of just seems suspicious to me. And I feel like Wanda taking his body back or something, while a bit, on the rough edge, I feel like it was something that she has some justice to, just because we don't really know what they were doing with the body.
Yeah, that was kind of the main thing that I thought of. That it was kind of a 50-50 thing of like, she took the body back, but she took it back for kind of good reasons. But then she started doing kind of what he told her not to do. But she may have been saving the body because they were experimenting on it. So I don't know. There's a lot of. I thought the interesting thing about that was that we were supposed to see this as an endgame cutscene, and now it's just being kind of snuck in there as like a security cam thing.
I feel like one thing I didn't understand, that they really stressed that whole like, oh, his wish was like he shouldn't be a weapon, and she's actively going against that. But what is she doing to make him a weapon? I don't really see that. That's why I'm kind of like confused as to why they said that. I get that they're like just saying it to make, I guess, maybe Monica more convinced that she is a bad person, but she's really not going against any of his quote unquote wishes. Perhaps maybe if he had a wish not to be brought back to life, yeah, sure, but she's not using him as a weapon. Unless I'm wrong.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's just that he's being brought back that puts him in a weapon, and that he's not conscious in the way he normally would, so he's not entirely in control. In that we're into a very gray area when we deal with what exactly Vision is, because we're not really sure, and they keep kind of peeling back the layers of the onion on it slowly, that we're kind of figuring out more and more that, oh, last week we found out this is the actual dead body, this is not a new Vision, this isn't none of that, and then this week we find out where she stole the body from, so we're just going to get more reveals, so I'm interested in that. We touched on the two instances of the big Elizabeth Olsen moments that I just want to make sure we double down on, like her coming out of the bubble was a really great moment. She's had really great moments in each of these episodes, and then she had another great moment with that fight with the Vision at the end, which was beautifully edited as well. The continuous one cut and how they did the credit roll over it, and then it was like, oh no, we're snapping out of it. So I really enjoyed the technical intricacies of that. But let's get into predictions for next week, and then we'll do a small rumor report that we should be able to fly through, and then we'll do quick Super Bowl predictions to wrap up the show. We still got a lot left in the show, guys. We got to keep moving. So predictions.
Yeah.
Let's start with Ronnie. What do you got?
Getting everything completely right last time, I feel like there's a lot of weight on the prediction I'm about to make right now. But what's it called? I don't know. I feel like it'll be literally the exact same prediction. I feel like it's gonna be. We're gonna see kind of Vision.
You don't know.
Kind of calm down from because we saw a lot of him being really heated up, and I feel like now that he kind of has this awareness that this stuff is being all this stuff is happening. I feel like we're gonna see kind of Vision trying to communicate with Wanda, try to understand it more on a level-headed basis, and him exploring on his own what this world is and what Westview is. Maybe trying to communicate with more of the citizens, or even tempting to go outside of the boundaries if he finds it. So we're gonna see some Vision exploration probably, and then aside from that, I feel like we're gonna see I think we're gonna stick with the normal, cut back and forth. I feel like that's gonna be a staple from this point on. And aside from that, I feel like we might see more Agnes. I feel like we saw a lot more of her this past episode, and I feel like she's only gonna be growing in influence more and more. Especially how they're not hiding the fact that she has some prevalence outside of the fact that she knows what's going on. When we had that scene where she mentioned oh, do you want to redo the take? Do you want to redo the scene? And Wanda was trying to not actively obvious to it. So we have some insight on Agnes for that. So I feel like this upcoming episode is going to be Vision exploration, kind of him just trying to figure out what Westview is. More of that back and forth with Westview and S.W.O.R.D, and then more Agnes probably.
Okay, those are some pretty good safe predictions. Matt, you got any hot predictions, or are you sticking safe like you did last week?
Wasn't there a Halloween scene we haven't seen yet?
Yes, but it could be next week. It could also be the week afterward. I'm not sure. Because from the trailer, it looked like there's two different tones for the last two timed episodes. So I'm not sure. Because this week was this week was 80s. So next week we got 90s and 2000s left.
Yeah.
6 and 7. 90s very much could be next. The Halloween scene, which could be 90s or 2000s, I'm just not sure based on the trailer that we've seen. Which will go. But
that Halloween scene.
Yes, I want to see Wanda with the Karen cut.
Well, that Halloween scene tells me that for at least a brief period of time, we're still going to see this kind of played out world of hers. But I think we're far from the episodes where it shows most of the show in that little world. As far as we're getting too many details now from both sides. So I'm gonna say a 50-50 split again. I'm gonna play safe and go with that because I think.
Do you think we're gonna
at
see
least for the next
Halloween
episode,
scene,
we still have to see Pietro. The Halloween scene specifically, sure. I think we're gonna see a next episode. And as far as Pietro, we still got to see him as kind of this, other person. You know what I mean? That kind of her world persona. So we still got to see him. So we're not completely done with that, but we're far from 90% of the episode being just that. So yeah.
Okay. Owen, what you got?
Well, I'm predicting we get more of the, kids messing with their age and stuff, obviously. Then, really, kind of all I got at the moment for predictions-wise. And probably, Vision doing more of the stuff he did like with Norm, where it was just like his actual personality out.
Did you cut out on?
I'm also predicting that Did you not hear me?
It sounded for a second, but I think you're fine now.
Right, yeah. Oh, I'm also predicting that, everybody is going to check out my Twitch at twitch.tv.
All right. No, we're not dealing
yeah.
plugs. We're not doing plugs right now. Plug at the end of the show. So, Nick, since I know your audio's cutting out, and if you want to just bounce, you can after this.
No, I'm good. I just can't.
Well, I know, just because you can't hear if you want to.
I can't hear Owen. It's the only person.
Oh, you can only not hear Owen?
Yeah.
Oh. Somebody. All right, we'll figure that out after the show. He just said more vision exploration. Then he tried to plug his Twitch.
Okay. I think these are. I'm going for the field. Y'all are playing it safe.
Yeah.
And there is nothing fun about it. All right. I think the big reveal that Joey was talking about is the character that they were talking about when they were doing the science things in the board with S.W.O.R.D. They're taking. Oh, there's the person that they could bring in. That's the big reveal. I have no idea who it is, but it's gonna be someone.
What?
Do you not remember that?
No.
It's Professor
Monica
Hulk.
was doing the science things about she needed the titanium.
Oh, that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're bringing someone in that's science related.
Do you think we see the science bros?
I don't know.
Science person camo. Okay.
I think that's the big cameo. Number 2
How
is
was the
I
duck
think we see
cameo?
Powers with the kids.
Powers with the kids.
And then number 3 is I think Agnes's reaction to Pietro will be very telling.
Damn, Nick is rolling for gold here, bro.
Nick is laying it all out
No.
here. We're gonna have to wait some of these predictions coming at the end of the show. We'll have to
Gets
wait.
everything wrong. It's like, no.
Guy is a big
I'm
gambler.
fine with getting it wrong. It's more
No.
fun to actually
I did want to talk
swing
about.
for
I
the
did want
fences.
to talk about what Nick said about the whole. They're bringing someone in because that's what my head went to when she talked about the whole big reveal later on. That's who I was thinking too.
Okay.
I never brought it up earlier, but I was agreeing.
It kind of went over my head.
Nick.
Swing for the
So
park.
I feel like Nick's predictions are. I feel like Nick's predictions
also,
are pretty.
Someone's going back in.
Nick's predictions are pretty small right now.
Solid prediction.
Someone's going back in.
Solid.
I think.
Professor Hulk.
Someone's. All right. Do you think it's Hulk, Ronnie?
Oh, damn.
That'd be funny as hell, but
It
maybe.
would.
Who knows? I don't know. I don't think.
Oh, that would be
I just
so.
don't feel like it. I don't feel like they would. I don't feel like they would just because of how
Ruffalo.
weird it would be. But if they did, I would love it. I don't know.
I think it could be Ruffalo
Those
or
Ruffalo.
Shuri. Shuri, is that it?
Yeah.
It would be Ruffalo
Oh
or
yeah, sure it could be.
Because they were doing the Wanda.
What if it's an Ironheart teaser? What if I'm laying it all out here and the Ironheart show has been revealed and we get a Riri Williams thing?
Or it's Reed Richards?
Oh, we
Ironheart would be sick.
because there was a theory last week about the Fantastic Four, and this is how it's setting up Fantastic Four. You
That
said
was
it, and
me.
then I saw it later.
That was me.
Huh?
Hey, dude, and that's what Chris Evans has. He's coming back to play the
Really
Human
sarcastic.
Torch.
Oh, jeez. We are.
That.
I told you.
Yes, he's coming back,
You breathing?
but as the Human Torch.
Oh, my word. I'm just getting all hot and bothered. The caffeine is flowing through me. It's oh my word.
Chris
It
Evans
ends
is
up being just a random scientist.
Yeah,
it's-
imagine this thing doesn't even get shown, and the Pietro thing was the only cameo we see. We're just making we're making all sorts of stuff up, and I'm all here for it. This is the content you see on Joey Plays Games.
Nah, dude. Pietro was not as big as Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, I know. That's when she said that, I was like, I'm not sure
Pietro.
because this got revealed way earlier. That I'm like, what if all these scoopers are hiding this? What if we see a Michael Fassbender? What if we see a Ian McKellen? What if we see somebody new?
Ian McKellen needs to just.
It'd be funny though.
It would be. It would be. Yeah. Word.
All right. I'm gonna go with more Pietro. Kids powers. Let's see. We got episode 6. I like Matt's calling the Halloween scene.
You could back it up because that's
Hold
90s
on.
version of Vision. That's
More
his
Pietro. Halloween. Yeah. Halloween scene. I'm doubling.
constant.
Yeah.
Big brain.
And then I think I'm gonna go with my last big one here. it all falls apart. Next week is episode 6. We've talked about how they're messing with the runtimes and all this. I'm thinking
Gonna be like 9.
no, because the shot we've seen of 6 or of 7, I don't remember which one. Yeah, 7 is like the modern thing, and it's kind of like a Modern Family / Office thing where she's talking to the camera type stuff, and the house looks empty, and she's kind of sitting there in sweatpants and a flannel, and she's kind of just like disheveled, and she looks very sad. That I think it could be a good call that everything goes to shit. So.
I'll do you one further, Joe. Vision finds the wall, he steps out, and then everything goes to shit. There we go.
Vision goes outside with the kids or no?
Like no, they do the show like The Office,
himself.
but then they just make a whole spin-off series of that.
Or he tries and it doesn't let him.
Does he live if he goes outside?
Vision goes outside.
Nah, we just see his dead body flop on the floor. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I can't.
It's like a fish. We just see it go. All right.
Comes to everything immediately drops dead again.
Yo, what if the surprise?
Then every time they come back,
good lord, we are just going places with the surprise.
Out of the field, and he's dead again. And what if when he's like the dead body gets thrown back in the field, then he's alive again?
I'm so here for this. This is what this show is going to be, and I love it. All right.
We're gonna get a Marvel DC crossover. I know it.
No, we're not.
Yes. Give me an alternate universe where we have Ryan Reynolds as both versions of Deadpool and as the Green Lantern. Give me that.
All right.
Animated, but
all right. We finished predictions.
Rumor report.
And one where he comes in as Pikachu. That's what I want.
All right. Rumor report time. So let's switch back to this.
Movie.
Man, I love this. I love the technology. All right, Owen, stop talking about Pikachu. Save that for your
talking
own
about
video.
Ryan Reynolds.
Well, I know, but you went all sorts of places that I just didn't follow because I wasn't thinking anymore. All right. Matt's already given me his predictions because I think he's got to go. So I don't know if you still have to go or not, Matt. But we're going to run through the predictions for everyone else. Henry Cavill will appear as Superman in Shazam! Fury of the Gods, a.k.a. Shazam 2, for those of you who don't want to do S.W.O.R.D, because that's a really weird name. I'm mind blown that's how they revealed it.
I forgot Shazam 1
fandom
even came out.
So this is a rumor. The director actually talked about it, how Henry Cavill was actually supposed to appear in the original Shazam. And was like he was actually in talks, and it was supposed to be midway through, but just stuff didn't work out. So I think he's kind of hinting that this is in talks, but he's not sure it's going to go down because of everything that Henry's going on with his rehabilitation and still shooting Witcher 2. Witcher Season 2, not Witcher 2. So what do we think?
True. Makes sense.
Up in the air.
Owen is up in the air.
I'm 50-50. Just because it's not something that's difficult to pull off. I feel like he would definitely just be there for a couple minutes maybe. But like you said, with the stuff that you brought in, I could see him maybe declining that offer or maybe going against it. So
Owen said
not sure. I feel like
50-50.
I feel like because I feel like I've seen him prioritize other projects over DCEU stuff every now and then.
That's because he's had
So,
contract.
I don't know. We'll
problems,
see.
But yeah. Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Why not? Okay. Matt, do you want to reiterate your predictions? I don't know if you're still here.
These were the predictions on what again?
Henry Cavill appearing in Shazam 2.
Yeah, that seems possible. That's not far-fetched.
Yeah,
I think that could.
Matt literally said possible. Accurate. All right, I'm going with accurate. I think this is probably real. I hope it pulls off because in my head we're gonna get a very magic-based Shazam 2 following up on the original post-credit scene, and then we're gonna get Black Adam, who's gonna do his own thing with the JSA, and then Shazam 3 is Black Adam fighting Shazam and Superman. In my head, that's how it goes, but we'll see how that goes. So last two pieces on the rumor report before we get to Super Bowl. commercial predictions to close out the show. It all ties together. This is all about Spider-Man 3. As usual, we love talking about Spider-Man 3 because this movie is going to be absolutely insane from what we've seen. First off, the Variety Tom Holland interview on Thursday was an absolute tease. It had nothing in it, and it was just blown out of proportion by fan sites. And I just want to say that and get that out there on the internet because I'm a little irritated by it. But our actual thing on the rumor report is a DoorDasher in Georgia. We'll click over to the actual tweets. Was tweeting that he delivered food. I believe it was beer. It was later revealed in a different set of tweets that he delivered alcohol, which is how we know that he was Andrew Garfield. Said it was rude, and then Twitter did its thing and found out that he's a DoorDasher in Atlanta, Georgia, which would make sense. But none of these things have been revealed by the official trades. So do we think we are slowly getting toward everybody being revealed as part of Spider-Man 3? Matt said this story was funny, and I believe him. Owen, give it to me. What do you think?
Definitely. I say a solid chance that the Super Bowl will confirm this.
Okay, I'm liking this. I love predictions that we're seeing Spider-Man 3. I've been calling it for weeks, but I'm not so sure after this week's announcements. But we'll see. Ronnie, what do you got?
I really feel like it doesn't do anything new for me. I feel like we kind of already had an idea that was coming.
Okay, so
but it is kind of cool to see people. It is kind of cool to see people. What's it called? Kind of, I guess, breaking into that kind of set. That tight, close set, and seeing like normal people like us just kind of being able to witness into that a little bit. Because, like you said, there's no other big projects over in Georgia right now. And seeing him there just kind of gives away that big little nod that, yeah, this is definitely happening. Kind of just reaffirming what we already know.
Yeah. Nick?
Yeah, funny. That was funny and true.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing. I thought it was hilarious that this is how it's revealed. That we had talked about it. He wasn't confirmed through the December.
Confirmed.
Yes, confirmed. He wasn't revealed through the December set of confirmations from Hollywood Reporter and all those actual trade websites. So I just thought this is funny how we actually get to see it. This one is getting more into the nitty gritty of it. A lot more was coming out as we started filming the show, so I'm sure this has only gotten worse. Not worse, but it's only gotten crazier. Same source who revealed that Alfred Molina, who played Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, who confirmed this before it was reported, has now reported today that Willem Dafoe has reported to the set of Spider-Man 3 as of today and will in fact play a role in the upcoming threequel. Additionally, there was also reports that 3 villains who have not been announced yet, the ones who have been announced are Jamie Foxx's Electro, Willem Dafoe, Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, and there's one that I'm forgetting off the top of my head.
Craven?
Somebody else.
Hobgoblin.
No. We just stopped listening because I'm not going to remember. It was from a picture, but there's 3 that haven't been revealed. So there's only more. This is all going crazy, and when Tom Holland talked about it, that this is probably the most ambitious solo superhero movie that we've ever seen, I'm starting to believe it.
Well, Civil War was a solo movie, so.
Civil War wasn't this. Civil War was not this.
It was a joke.
Oh, I know,
right.
I believe you.
Super Bowl predictions. Done.
I think
wait, no.
I think this is true.
Sorry.
We all think this is true, right?
Nah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that being true.
We all think this is true. There's no point in including it. I just wanted to include it toward the rumor report instead of
news.
Yeah, news, because it was more of a rumor than news. So Deadline on Tuesday, put out this article. How many Super Bowl spots are Hollywood studios and streamers running this year? And talked about not that many. Normally, a lot of the advertisers that are also run Super Bowl spots, some of them are not. They're opting to donate to charity, the money they would spend. So I'm very interested to see what exactly is going to be as the Super Bowl spot. But apparently HBO Max, Peacock, Apple TV, and Netflix are all expected to sit out. Article talks about how Netflix made a big splash with their day and date of Cloverfield Paradox. Some fun fact about the Apple 1984 Macintosh commercial. Okay.
Macintosh. What does that mean?
It was their computer.
Oh.
The Fortnite thing.
You know, the one where they're...
No,
talks about Universal making a big deal. Typically, Warner Brothers and Sony sit out. Disney, Universal, and Paramount take advantage of the opportunity. According to this article, Disney will have 2 to 4 trailers on par with previous Super Bowls. Studio keeps everything close to the chest, but it's conceivable we'll see Marvel Fair. It cites Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and possibly Black Widow, or March 5th's Disney Plus premium debut of the animated film Raya and the Lost Dragon. While Raya seems on track, Black Widow may get delayed. No surprises during Super Bowl about Black Widow jettisoning to Disney Plus. In the 24-hour post-game online viewership last year, Black Widow was second for views behind F9, and the second trailer took third with Mulan. Hulu apparently will not have an ad. It will talk about a bundle. Universal will air a trailer for M. Night Shyamalan's new film, apparently, which it looks like it's counting down. And Amazon will run a trailer for its Paramount acquisition of Coming to America.
Coming to America, the sequel.
Yeah, I was reading this to see if it was important to talk about. So now that everyone has actually heard the contents of the article, what do we think? Let's start with Matt here. What do you think? What do you think we're gonna see? Give me just Disney ones because it looks like we're not seeing any Warner Brothers, so there's no point.
Yo, speak up.
He's either frozen or
Can you guys hear me?
We can't hear you, Matt.
I can hear you now.
Can hear you now.
Tim.
You hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get more trailers for basically the Disney Plus kind of like movie quality shows. So the superhero ones, maybe Star Wars one.
All right. Matt goes Disney Plus. Marvel shows, maybe Star Wars. I can't spell. Oh my word. All right, Owen, what you got?
Well, I mean, 3 to 4 sounds crazy just for Disney. It's definitely that new.
But
yeah, it's definitely one of them's to be the new Raya and the Dragon thing, most likely,
leaves the Raya one.
and probably Spider-Man, and then
Spidey.
probably gonna go Black Widow and the Winter Soldier and series. Those it has to be those 4. Like I don't see any other thing.
Okay.
Too much.
Nick, what you got?
I don't think they need to advertise for Black Widow anymore. I think they've had enough. They usually only put out 2 to 3 trailers, and I think they're already at that. So I think this year we're gonna get another one of those fast cuts, and we're gonna see.
Go ahead.
Sorry?
No, you're stealing what I'm going to say, but I got more specifics, so I hope I'm not saying the same thing as you.
We're gonna see it. Gonna be both TV and movie. We're gonna see it with Hawkeye. We're gonna see something from that.
Disney Reel. Okay, just keep saying.
And then I think we're gonna see something from Shang-Chi, and then it's gonna end with Spider-Man. Everything that's pretty much done so far that we haven't seen, we're gonna see a little bit of it. And
I got some bangers to go this, and I hope it works. Ronnie, lay it out. I'm gonna close out.
I think we're definitely gonna see a continuation of that Chester the Cheeto versus
I hate you.
forget who he was in a rap battle with.
All right, if we don't see a Chester the Cheetah ad, you're getting fired off the show.
Serious.
No.
I'm joking. not what's it called? I agree with Nick on the whole Black Widow thing. I was gonna say the exact same thing about how I think they've already advertised enough for that. I don't think they're gonna do anything more. I agree with Owen on his Raya prediction. I feel like that's coming soon, and they're definitely want to advertise that. So Raya, Hawkeye, and not Hawkeye. I meant Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's two for sure for me. Um, I want to say Spider Man, but I really don't think they're gonna come out with anything for that during the Super Bowl. Um, Dang. Did you say something about the F9?
Last year there was a big event around the trailer beforehand. It was just talking in the article about that.
Okay.
It's Universal who does the Fast and Furious movies is doing M. Night Shyamalan. Whatever the big picture is.
Okay, so then Raya.
You got Chester, Raya, Falcon and Winter Soldier. You hope for Spider-Man.
Take Chester off. Take Chester off, Joe. But actually, we might see that. I'm not holding back on that. But what's it called? Now that I realize how limited my options are, probably Hawkeye. Nick has a point in that. And dang, I can't really think of anything else. Maybe Loki, but that's about it. I really want to say Spider-Man, but I don't feel like anything's gonna come off of that. I don't feel confident enough in that.
The energy drink has finally kicked in, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to let you know I'm here with some big energy for this Super Bowl prediction. First off, we're getting a Disney Plus reel. We're gonna get in the first part of the Disney Plus, or the end probably, Disney Plus reel, Black Widow, day and date. It's gonna go in theaters and online same time. They can't push this movie anymore. We're getting Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki teaser, all a part of this, and they're gonna do quick cuts. They're gonna do reveals for Ms. Marvel and Hawkeye, all a part of it. We get a trailer for Shang-Chi and Raya as separate things, and I know Sony's probably sitting this out, but I want Spider-Man 3, damn it. Amy Pascal promised it to me in December, and she didn't give it to me. I want it. I hope I get it. We'll throw it back to our thing to close it out.
Give us Spider-Man. Give us Zendaya.
Give it to us. We want it.
Do we think Zendaya's gonna be the next one? I'm not sure. I'm just kidding.
I hate you.
Zendaya's gonna be the next Spider-Man.
Washington's new movie actually came out on Netflix. For those of you who want to go watch it, Malcolm and Marie. It's getting pretty decent reviews from what I'm seeing. So if you're into that, go ahead and watch it this weekend. But
if you're into that weird shit, go ahead. Take a
Good God. All right. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this week's episode of the Joey Plays Games podcast. I hope you all had fun. We all did. We'll see you guys next week to break down WandaVision episode 6. We'll talk whatever Super Bowl trailers we got going on and the nerdy news that we just can't wait to discuss with you. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for whoever's been watching. We're gonna keep trying to grow, and make sure to like the video. Like the video. It'll help us grow.
Be the next big thing.
And comment down below your thoughts on Super Bowl predictions and what we're going to see next week for WandaVision. Or if you have any questions for us, if you want us to start doing a fan question part of the show, give us some silly questions while they're intro or close the show with. But make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. I want to thank everybody for coming in and taking time out of your Friday to do the show with us, and I love you all, and we'll see you next week. Peace.